Hey everybody, Jeff Bates is my name. Breaking Bates is the name of my podcast. I like to call it Batesball talk when I talk sports, and that's what we're doing today. On today's episode, the Dodgers Red Sox complete the trade, but the Dodgers and the Angels don't. Jock and Ross stay in LA. Major League Baseball is talking about a new playoff format, and it involves reality TV. The Astros are getting sued because of their sign stealing scandal. Oh, and it's not by some crazy fan. It's by a former pitcher. And my man, Phillip Rivers, is a Charger no longer. He's a free agent. All that next on Breaking Bates, the podcast. So this is interesting. The Dodgers Red Sox trade has now been completed. Betts and Price are on their way to LA. Verdugo and others, including someone named Jeter, on the way to Boston. What does that do to the Jock Peterson, Ross Stripling to the Angels trade? This is pretty interesting stuff. Jock Peterson is a stud. For what he's done as mostly a platoon guy over the last few years, it's pretty impressive stuff. I would want him in my outfield if I was just, Team X. Then you've got Ross Stripling. Basically a minor leaguer, major leaguer, back and forth kind of 4A guy last year. But the year before, he was an all-star. This guy is a talented pitcher. These are two good pieces that any team would want. But in LA, what is Stripling? Starter 7, starter 8. Then look at the outfield in LA. You've got Mookie in right. You've got Bellinger in center. You got Pollock in left. Enrique Hernandez doesn't really have a place in the infield anymore. You've got Lux and Muncy playing second. So Enrique is an outfielder. Then you got Chris Taylor. They just signed to a 2-year contract. An outfielder. Backup shortstop. Fine, but an outfielder. Where do you play Jock Peterson? Where do you play Ross Stripling? Also, you just got Jock. You beat him in arbitration, you being the Dodgers. So you're going to pay him about $7 million. That's a bargain. I bet he still gets traded. And I bet Stripling gets traded too. Maybe not so much that one. Maybe not. But Peterson, it's too expensive to have a guy. I mean, what is he going to be? The right-handed pitcher, left-handed hitter, half of a left field platoon with AJ Pollock? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm betting they're going to move him for prospects to somebody, somewhere. But here's the thing that I find fascinating. The Angels pulled out. The Dodgers didn't pull out. The Angels pulled out. From what I've read, from what I've listened to on MLB Network and all the places I've been getting the info, Artie Moreno got tired of waiting. Artie Moreno was the one that said, forget this. I don't want to be patient. I'm getting impatient. The trade's done. So then the Dodgers said, cool. And they still have these two pieces. Now, it's going to happen fast. They've got 42 people on their 40-man roster. What the heck's going to happen? I bet Peterson gets flipped for something of value. I bet it's a prospect or 3. Who knows? But I just find it interesting, and it does not make sense to me that Artie Moreno would back out of this deal. I think he's probably proven that he's not the best owner of all time. Look at some of the signings they've done. I mean, C.J. Wilson and Josh Hamilton and even Albert Pujols. The Angels are in rough shape, and this trade looked to put them in contention, frankly, in my opinion. Peterson wrapped around Rendon and Trout somewhere. Stripling in that rotation. Ohtani in that. I mean, that's a pretty good lineup. I would have wanted Peterson. I would have wanted Stripling. So anyway, I'm interested to see how this all shakes out. And I think the big losers in this trade are the Angels. All right, this is fascinating. Mark Feinsand on MLB.com wrote an article today that I just can't stop thinking about. Could Selection Sunday be coming to Major League Baseball? He writes, MLB is considering a significant restructuring of its playoff format, one which would begin with a dramatic live television show during which two teams from each league would have the ability to select their first round opponents. What? The proposed format, which has been gaining traction according to Fine Sand, among owners and within the commissioner's office, would see the total number of playoff teams in each league increase from 5 to 7, with the wild card round expanding from a 1-game playoff to a best-of-3 series. The new format could go into effect as early as the 2022 season. Here's how the new format would work. The team with the best record in both the American and the National League would receive a first-round bye. Okay, I love that. Automatically advancing to the division series. The other 2 division winners would host all 3 games in a best-of-3 wildcard round, as would the wildcard team with the next best record. So, the best team record-wise in both leagues advances into the next round. The 2 division winners and the best record of the wildcard teams all host 3-game series against the next 3 now wildcard teams. The 3 bottom wildcard teams are all having to win on the road, and they got to win 2 out of 3 on the road. I like that because that's hard. There's an advantage there to winning your division, and there's even an advantage to being the best wildcard team. So I like that. Taking it to 7, I like that. I really do. I don't like how many teams are out of it early. To be one of the top 7 teams in your division, I just think that's more realistic. Now, I do like they have the best record has this large advantage. I like that a lot. That if you win your division, you get an advantage, or if you're the best team to not win your division, I like that. I've always hated this 1-game wild card. I hate it. It's just too random. You fight for 162, sometimes 163 games, and it comes down to 1 game. There's just too much that can happen. That's just inherently not a fair way to move on. But a 3-game series sounds a lot more fair to me. Last season, the Astros would have been the AL's number 1 seed based on having the best record in the league, while the Yankees, Twins, and Athletics would have hosted the 3-game series. The Yankees, by virtue of the number 2 seed, would have then been charged with the assignment of picking their opponent. I find that amazing. From a grouping that would have been the Rays, the Indians, and the Red Sox, teams 5, 6, and 7 last year. Interesting. Now, you would be excluding a possible game 163 if there was a tie, because you would just go with the season series winner, and I guess you just make sure they have an odd amount of games and there's no issue there. I suppose there's a chance that rainouts could screw that up, right? Interesting stuff. I don't know. I am absolutely a purist in my brain. I like mostly not changing things that are that drastic in baseball, but I love this. I want this. I just think it gives the advantage. Like, if you're the best team in each league, you deserve an advantage. If you win a division, you deserve an advantage. If you have the best record that doesn't win your division, I'm okay with that having an advantage. And I like taking 7 teams. I really, really do. This is interesting stuff. Last season, the Mets and the D-backs would have been the number 6 and 7 seeds in the National League, respectively. And so I think it would be fascinating to see, all right, team number 2 gets to pick which team they want to play. That would be, I would watch that show. What do you think? I love this idea. I vote yes. And it's weird for me to say that because like I said, I consider myself a baseball purist, but I like this idea a lot. What about you? So this one's rough for me. I'm a Chargers fan. I grew up in San Diego. I've always enjoyed the local teams. I'm a Dodgers fan. I've been a Chargers fan. Phillip Rivers has been one of my favorites. I mean, I own a Phillip Rivers jersey. He never got there, and it wasn't because of him. The dude has been elite, I'll say it, Hall of Fame level quarterback. Since the day he got drafted, sat behind Drew Brees. I've been a fan. Love his game. Feel like he's misunderstood. Love that he's a family guy. Love that he's fiery on the field. Love that everybody hates him for it. Think he's just a misunderstood, awesome, amazing, elite quarterback. And I'm sad that he's going to leave the Chargers without much postseason success. He's certainly not going to get us to a Super Bowl. He's a free agent and he's not coming back. It's official. And he's moved to Florida. And I'll tell you where he's going to end up. He's going to be in Tampa Bay. It just makes too much sense, right? He lives there now. Tampa Bay clearly has a quarterback situation that's a mess. But I'm sad. I like him in that Chargers uniform. Now the Chargers got, what are they? They're picking, I think at number 6 overall. Could they end up getting Tua? I don't know. Is he going to go one above that to the Dolphins? Is Tua going to go even sooner than that? I would love to see Tua. I think he might be a real good quarterback, but I think more likely it's the kid from Oregon, Justin Herbert. But whatever happens next year, the Chargers quarterback won't be Phillip Rivers, and it just kind of makes me sad. Okay, this one is kind of fascinating. Pitcher Mike Bolsinger says cheating Astros change the course of his career. He's suing? From USA Today, the Houston Astros wronged a lot of people in a lot of ways, but the damage they did to Mike Bolsinger, to his career and to his whole life, was particularly harsh. And the former Toronto Blue Jays pitcher wants them held accountable. Bolsinger filed a civil lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court on Monday, accusing the Astros of unfair business practices, negligence, and intentional interference with contractual and economic relations. Are you kidding me? I don't even know what to say about this. This could be huge. Nancy Armour from USA Today is the reporter. He's asking for $31 million to be forfeited. That is the amount the Astros were earned through bonuses for winning the World Series. And he's not asking for the money. He says he wants the money to go to charities in the LA area that are focused on bettering kids' lives. I don't know that you can sue somebody and then tell somebody what to do with it. I find this uncomfortable. There's a message to be sent to youth out there, especially athletes, more specifically baseball players, Bolsinger told USA Today Sports. It was awesome to grow up and watch games played the right way. We've kind of drifted from that. It's something we can really express to these kids. You don't have to cheat to get to where you want to go. This kind of stuff doesn't need to happen. The Astros did not immediately respond to messages seeking comment. Here's my comment. If you sue somebody and you win, you don't get to tell the judge where to put the money. I suppose if they gave it to Bolsinger, he could give it to where he wants, but they're not going to give it to Bolsinger. He wasn't hurt by $31 million. Did it hurt his career? Probably. Freddie Freeman came out and was very upset, even teared up about his buddy who was injured and came back from an injury and got ripped at home against the Astros. This is fascinating. You know, there's that big athlete versus the NCAA suit. It was the O'Bannon brothers, Ed O'Bannon specifically, I believe, that sued the NCAA and won. And it's changed a lot of things as it relates to using the player's image in college and all that. That was huge. Of course, you've got the Junior Seau NFL, head injury, concussion, traumatic brain injury suits that are, I guess, still outstanding. I don't really know. This one's out of left field. Well, see what I did there? Out of left field. Mike Bolsinger says that he and others were harmed by this, and it's going to go to the courts. Is it just a money grab? What do you guys think? I will be watching this for sure. That's it for today's episode of Breaking Bates Batesball Talk. If you like this at all, feel free to check out my YouTube channel. It's Dole Whip Dad. A lot of Disney things over there. A lot of live streams, a lot of videos. And thanks so much for listening to the podcast. As always, listen harder.